Today we're going to be going over how to remove a background in Photoshop. This is going to be particularly useful when you want to really get that portrait style look, or you want to just sort of put your character or your subject in a different place. So first step is going to be to actually load our photo into Photoshop. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over, this should be the screen you see when you've opened up Photoshop. You're going to go ahead and go over and click Open. You're going to go to whatever sort of container you've saved your photos in. For me, I've just gotten this from my phone, so it's going to be under Downloads, and then I'm going to select it. You might just want to check real quick, make sure it's the correct photo, so that is the correct photo I want to be editing. I'm going to go ahead and come down here and click Open, and then now it's going to open up in Photoshop. So this is the standard Photoshop, basically workspace over here. So we've got a bunch of tools over here on the left side. We've got our layers down over here on the bottom right side, and we've got a little a color chart over here on our top right. And then of course we've got all of our settings up top, all of our different windows that we can open up top as well. So both of our methods are going to be using the quick selection tool. So if you look over here on the left side of the screen, we've got our toolbar, and we're really only going to worry about one for now, and it's this one right here, quick selection tool. Basically what this is you can watch a little video right there. Basically what it does is it shows us that when we paint on the screen by holding down the main click, it is going to fill in and it's going to give us these moving lines. These moving lines, the area inside of these shows what we have selected. So we're going to undo that real quick. So basically what we want to do is we want to select right now, for this first method, we are going to select everything we don't want in frame. So we're going to go around our character, and Photoshop is pretty smart here. It's going to try and fill in what it thinks the background is. For right now, this is good. I just want to get rid of this wall behind me. As you can see, it looks pretty good. We have no errors around the outside. If there were any errors, simply you hold down Alt, which is going to basically activate the secondary use of this tool, which is to paint out areas you've selected. So you see there, that is no longer selected. So when we paint just normally, it's going to show us what we have selected. If we hold down Alt while painting, it's going to take things out of that selection area. So as you can see, this spot over here is going to be no longer in the selected area. So we want to get this entire wall out of here. So what we're going to do now is we're simply going to go up and we're going to click Delete. As you can see, that entire wall behind me has now been replaced by this checkered pattern. What that means is anything that is put down here, anything that is put behind this photo is going to be able to be seen. There's not going to be a wall there, nothing's going to be blocking it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to this photo, make sure again that it is a layer and not a background. We are going to copy it, we're going to come over to our main photo, and we are going to click Paste. Now as you can see, the background that we want to add has covered up our subject. To fix that, we're going to simply come over here to our layers. We're going to move that nice blue sky layer down below our main layer, and as you can see, it's popped in there. We've got our subject in frame in front of the nice sky. Now for our second method, we are once again going to be using the quick selection tool. So you're going to go ahead and select that again. This time what we're going to do is we're going to come up here, and instead of painting in our area, we're going to let the computer do most of the work. So we're going to click Select Subject, and we're going to wait a little bit. It's going to take a second. The computer is basically going to look at our photo. It's going to figure out what is the background and what is the foreground and what is the subject. So if you look here, it's gone in ahead and selected what it thinks is the subject. Now as you can see, this isn't going to be 100% all the time. Obviously we've got a little space over here, we've got a lot of space over here, and it hasn't really selected the front part of my foot. So what we're going to want to go and do is we're going to go ahead and, using the quick selection tool, we're just going to paint in the areas it missed. Now again, if we've got this area that we don't want in the selection, we're going to hold down Alt and we're going to paint it out. And as you can see, it's gone now and we've only got this area selected. Again, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing down here, paint out that blanket, and we're going to come up here to the top of my foot and paint it in. So obviously this method isn't 100% effective, and it works best when you've got a nice plain colored background. And if we wanted to add the blanket back in, all we'd have to do is paint out here, and Photoshop would go ahead and add that into the selection. Now I don't actually want the blanket in this shot, so we're just going to leave it so only I am selected in the frame. Now what we're going to do is we're going to right click or secondary click, and we're going to come up to this nice toolbar right here, and we are going to click select inverse. As you can see, now it's selected everything in the frame except for me. That is basically because after we clicked select subject and we added in what we wanted to be selected, we have now clicked select inverse, so it's selected the inverse. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to go up again and click delete, and look at that. Everything that we have selected in the frame has been deleted. So again, how that works is we have selected what we want to keep in the frame, we've selected inverse, which then selects what we want to get rid of, then we click delete, and it is all gone. And once again, we'll go over to our nice beach photo, we will copy the layer, we will paste it, and once again, it's on top of our layer. We don't want that, we will pull it down below, and just like that, you've got me floating in the sky. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you learn how to do this for yourself. Practice this a bunch. As you do it more and more, it'll get easier. You should practice with different photos. You should practice you should mess around in Photoshop, use different tools, see what each of them do. So hopefully you've learned how to delete the background out of one of your photos and add in a new background, or simply just select something in your frame and get rid of it. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. Practice makes perfect, so if you don't get it right on the first try, watch the video again, keep practicing, and eventually you'll get it. Thanks.